good tomorrow, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching this in the world. And hello, all my BC Wrestle Pod nerds. And welcome to another rendition of NXTilosos, the sexiest NXT review show out there on the internet. I am one of your hosts, Mikey, and joining me this evening, of course, is my co-host, Papa Oso himself, Will. Man, Will, I'm happy to have you here. We got a lot to talk about. So this is going to be a big episode for us because, as it always is the case, we will be going through the NXT episode, but this is the Go Home edition. So not only will we be covering the regular NXT episode, but we will also be making our predictions for NXT Battleground. So Battleground is happening this Sunday, and the review will be the following Wednesday. So it's going to be interesting. But before we get into everything, we do a little bit of housekeeping. Of course, you can follow us, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitch, follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod. We're anywhere and everywhere. We do lots of fun things. We do these long form live streams. We have edited version of our reviews. The social medias have out of context clips that give you a synopsis of what we talked about during the full length episodes. And on top of that, we also have report cards for all the shows and the pay-per-views. So it's a lot of fun. And you know what? We are making friends along the way too. So we are on and popping, I hope. But we also have brand new merch available for your purchase at our Fourth Wall shop. So Fourth Wall /BC WrestlePod, where we have merch for all of our review shows, including NXTilosos, but we also have merch for all of our pay-per-view review teams. So from the major American feds to the international brands, and we even dropped an exclusive Hot Boy Summer collection where, you know, it is summer, the bods are out, body positivity is in full effect, and show off your curves and inches and tanks, shirts, and exclusive to this condition, or not condition, to this collection, an embroidered bucket hat with our Hot Boy Summer logo. So make sure to check in on all of that. I will link the merch link in the description of the comments below in a little bit. But now that we got it out of the way, let's just get into it, because a very promo and talky heavy episode of NXT this week. So we solidified some final matches happening for Battleground, as well as continuing to tell stories for weeks to come in the next couple episodes of NXT after Battleground. But Will, let's jump into what kicked off the show, which was my personal favorite match of the evening. This was a triple threat match for basically a number one contendership to Ricky Saints' NXT North American Championship match. And so the three contending for that was Ashanti the Adonis, Mr. Bouncy himself, Javon Evans, and new to the NXT crowd, but not to me, because I also watch and review WWE Evolve, and Mr. Sean Legacy. Sean Legacy, first and foremost, that hair, I was like, I don't know how it stayed. It was a mess by the end. I don't know how it's kept the majority of its shape. But Sean, I was not sure how I would feel about you. I need you to be on NXT television like more often, because I really loved your style. I'm going to be honest, this was probably my favorite match of the whole entire evening. I think because, surprisingly, but I shouldn't be, Javon and Sean Legacy had such great chemistry. And I also love the fact that the first half of the match just saw the two of them trading blows by continuing to punch Ashanti the Adonis in the face and keeping him out of the match. But Ashanti, you know what, sir? Now that we've broken you and Carmen up, you actually are a pretty decent wrestler too. This is a fun opener match. It was a lot of fun. Of course, because of All Ego Ethan Page coming out and attacking Ricky Saints in the middle of this match, this causes Javon for the save to dive into everybody, which would allow Sean Legacy to capitalize and pin Ashanti the Adonis for the win. So your winner and new number one contender to the NXT North American Championship is Sean Legacy. Will, what did you think about our opening bout and the chaos that unfolded?
So I thought this was a great match. Let me get that right out of the way. This was probably, I agree with you, this is probably my match of the night because it was the strongest, I think. However, I am not happy with the outcome. This dude who's from wherever he's from, this is my biggest issue. And you know, I've said this many times, is these folks who come down or come over from like either main roster or whatever WWE universe they come from, and they come into NXT, and then they take a title opportunity away from someone that's been at NXT forever. And honestly and truly, Javon Evans should have won this match. I'm sorry. It's time for him to have a true championship bout with someone. I think he's ready. I think he's talented. I think, and then to bring in whatever his name was, I don't even remember his name because that's how much I don't care about him. To come bring him in and take that away, God, it really angered me. I was so mad because, and again, probably, nothing to the gentleman who came in because it's not, he was just doing what he was told. But the company, this irritates the crap out of me. Like, truly. Like, it was the one thing that kind of made me not enjoy this match, even though this was the strongest match of the night. And I would say it's my match of the night, but because I was so mad. And we've had this issue before in the past, and I have voiced my opinion on it. Popular, unpopular, I really don't care. All I know is I hate when people who are not NXT come in and take a contendership away from an NXT member. It drives me crazy, insane. So there you have it.
Well, I'm glad to know how you really feel. No, I'm just kidding. So I agree with you. I think Javon should have and could have gotten this number one contendership because he's been, working and pretty much amazingly the last year and a half he's been here. I will say though, I do appreciate because the reason that Sean got added to this match is because last week Javon defended, the guys coming from the independents wanting to come to WWE because that's how Javon was last year. But I agree, Ricky Saints, more on that a little bit later. But I think Sean Legacy might have a fun match against whoever ends up being the champion by the end of next week's show. I still think Javon is going to get into that picture somehow. And I would be if he does not end up with that championship by the end of the year somehow. So, but you know what? Still a really fun match. I become a fan of Sean Legacy. But I do agree. I think Javon has kind of earned his dues and paid his dues to get that. But I don't think Javon is going to be put in the corner. I think we're going to continue to see him and continue to hang out around this NXT North American Championship scene. But again, probably the strongest match of the night. But we move on because we get a little brief segment with Ava congratulating our two winners of the LFG show, in which we got a new men's and women's, NXT signee. So basically, we see them, they're going to make an impact. More on that a little bit later. So this was this is a feel good moment because we got to tie in all the WWE programming that is not just the wrestling shows, which is kind of crazy. Jordan Grace, you can squat me anytime. Like this workout. Yes, ma'am. So we get a pre-tape promo of Jordan Grace doing lots of workouts and basically talking about how she's preparing for herself against her, Stephanie in her match upcoming at Battleground, and that she's determined and she has made it her goal since entering the wrestling world to get here and get championship gold. That is all she cares about. And Jordan Grace, I don't know, girl. Like, it's truly 50-50. We're going to talk about it a little bit because I still don't know which way the coin is going to flip. But Will, what did you think of Muscle Mommy Jordan Grace's promo?
I love her promos, all of them. I don't think there's ever been a promo that she's done that I haven't I haven't enjoyed watching. So at first, when this first started, though, I will say before my brain clicked in and was like, "Oh, Jordan Grace," I thought it was like a commercial for a gym.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, yeah, but this is NXT. It's not TNA anymore. So it's like, yeah, but Stephanie still has, she's still, new in the title. And it's like, I think eventually no matter what, I do think I want Jordan Grace to take this title at some point, whether it's right now or not, I don't know. But if it is, yay. If it's not, then yay for Stephanie and later down the road, because
it's going to be tough.
It is. It's going to be really hard. I mean, because Jordan Grace is one of those, she's a great champion. That's what's so great about her. She's a great champion. She's marketable. She's eloquent when she speaks. She's articulate when she speaks. I mean, it's like, she's charismatic. She's like the whole package. And so, and I think, and not to diss Stephanie by any means, because I freaking love that woman, and I know that she sometimes struggles with English, and that doesn't bug me. That doesn't bother me. I know it does bother a lot of people. That doesn't bother me. I think Stephanie has the same thing. She has that champion quality about her that when she walks in a room, you just stop breathing for a second, and it's the same way with Stephanie. So yeah, with me, I'm kind of like, because I love them both. Can we share the title? Can we have two of them? Can we split it down the middle and or joint custody? Like, I don't know, something. But it doesn't matter. We're me. Either of these ladies have that title. I'm all for it. So
I honestly, we'll talk about it when we make our predictions for Battleground, but this one's going to be a tough one to decide between the two. And, but we'll talk about it. Jordan Grace, as always, a great promo. We loved it. Trick, I loves you. What the flip was this? So we got a rap diss from Trick Williams. I'm going to be so for real. Booker T, I feel like kind of saved it. But I also don't meant because of Booker T's ad-libs. I don't know if we were supposed to take this as serious or comedy, but this was no bueno. I was just like, all right, Mello, sit down. This was rough, Will.
it was it was hard to watch. All I kept thinking the whole time is like, wow, how the mighty have fallen. Like, it's like, when pop stars, all they can do is commercials because they can't do anything else. Or things like, like movie stars. Suddenly you see them in a Sprite commercial and you're like, oh, this is where we are now. So yeah, it was super hard to watch.
This one was tough to watch. I'm not going to lie. So of course this happened and I was like, all right, well, we're going to move on with our night. So yeah, this was a flip of the coin because we would get the second half in the main part of the match of the episode. So we're going to talk about that when we get there. But first, let's talk about this match. Josh Briggs and even Sean Spears, whoever did this graphic for y'all, did you dirty. Josh Briggs, your face is not this elongated. I was like, this is not Steve Macklin. Calm down, NXT. I kid you not, Will. This graphic reminds me like somebody was playing too much with Photoshop and it looked like somebody was mid-transformation in the mask, like for reals.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's funny. And Spears looks like Zangief.
I was about to say, and also I'm like, what in the 300 is this?
God, yeah, that's a horrible graphic.
This graphic was not great. I did not like this. I am unsettled, but you know what? This match also was not that great. It was okay. This match really served a purpose. Josh Briggs was having issues because, name redacted here, was messing with him after 2 weeks ago or last week, when we had to say goodbye to Yoshiki Inamura and going back to Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah. And, name redacted here, telling Josh that he has no friends and he's always the one that causes the problems. So now he wants to fight everybody. So he's fighting Sean Spears here. Josh is a big dude. We know he's a powerhouse. We have seen him do it. But for the sake of the story, I understand why the numbers game was catching up with him, because basically it was a 4-on-1. And unfortunately, those numbers games would allow Sean Spears to win. And I was just like, okay, well, the match itself, it was okay. It was fine. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I wonder where we're going with this. Sure enough, I didn't have to wait long because after the match was over, name redacted here began beating up on Josh Briggs, which then saw our NXT Tag Team Champions, Hank and Tank, Hong Kong, come in to even the odds. And because of the save and the numbers game kind of being evened a little bit with Hank and Tank saving Josh and taking, pushing out name redacted here out of the ring, we get this match made officially for Battleground. So we're getting a 6-man tag, name redacted here, taking on the team of Josh Briggs and Hank and Tank. Am I happy that Josh Briggs is back on pay-per-views? Yes. Is this the match that I wanted for him? No. But you know what? At least he's back on here. This is a weird cavalcade of getting this match put together on the Go Home show. So yeah, this was a okay match, and we're getting this match. So I ain't mad because there's more people on my screen, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm still not on board with the culling.
Name redacted here.
Every time I hear it, I'm just like, I think of this white supremacy.
Refuse. Listen, between the two shows me and Will cover, like, we already have problems. We have this one, and then we have a certain person in TNA who's not helping out the cause either. Lord have mercy. I wish you and JT were there when I did the Rebellion review, because I wanted y'all. The whole crowd was so disinterested in that Knockouts Championship match, and it sucked for Masha, but that's for the other show. But yeah, we're getting this match for Battleground. We will do our predictions a little bit because right now, I actually like, again, the screenshots that I find are so perfect for this. Tatum's just like, the world is ending. Her life is over. She's about to drop the hottest, like, Avril Lavigne inspired, like, album of her life right now. And Thea comes in and she's like, girl, I get that you're dark and depressed. I understand. But if anyone knows what it's like to be left by yourself and have to fend for yourself, it is me, girl. So Thea tries to attempt to be friends with Tatum, but unfortunately, Miss Jada Parker doesn't allow it because then she comes from behind and knocks Thea down. Then you know what? Jada gets close to Tatum and is just like, you know what, girl? Well, first she yells at Thea for getting in her business, but then she changes her tone. She's like, you know what, Tatum, girl, it's okay. Like, I understand how you're feeling and I want to be your friend. Tatum's like, really? And Jada's like, hell no. And then she walks off. I was like, damn. This backstage segment was fun because it keeps Thea and Jada's feud going, but also Tatum is probably going to be entering herself going either teaming or going up against Jada too. So I'm excited. More women's storylines. We love it. I've also missed Thea's chaotic energy on my screen, so I'm so happy that we got it back.
I agree. I've missed Thea a lot. And that was funny. I mean, she just like tossed her. It was so funny.
The change of emotions for Tatum was great. Like, the world is ending in one frame and then like she's happy in the next.
I know. It's so this was a really fun backstage promo. Or it was fun.
I love it. This is great. Again, for all the promotions out there, you can have more women's feuds that don't revolve around the championship. Trust me, it works. Let's be real. This was mostly a return squash match for OTM, getting them back from injury and all that good stuff. So we have OTM in a tag. We have tag team match OTM, a returning OTM to the ring, going up against version 2.0 of Chase U, and let's be real, this was just a match to get OTM back into the ring and now that they're back from injury and all that good stuff. So yeah, Chase U 2.0 gets the beating of a lifetime, and OTM wins. I have nothing else to say.
I could have cared absolutely no less for this match. I don't care about either of these two tag teams. First of all, I'm sorry, but Chase U has lived its day. It needs to go.
It has set sailed.
Yeah. And then
it's not the same.
OTM, I mean, here's my thing. If you're and it feels like they're trying to reinvent themselves a little bit, and I'm all for that, but I need you to change your name. All I think of when I hear OTM is the thug life that they were living when they first got here, which was more stereotype than actual anything. And that just bugs me. And I'm like, I'm all for them coming back in and like going, hey, we're new, we're doing something different. And I'm like, good, then you need to change your name. Reinvent yourself. You're going to reinvent yourself. Do an offshoot of that name, or something. It just has too many negative connotations to it. And I just wish they would create a tag team name that empowers them as opposed to makes them victims. And because that's what I want to see. And I mean, I could be way off in left field with that, but that's just what it sounds like. It's what it feels like. And they're really good. That's what's so funny. That's what's so sad about it. They're actually really good. And I want to care about them, but right now I don't. So I'm waiting for whatever they're going to need to do to make that happen. But not that, their career is balanced on me liking them or not. But
I mean, that's very fair. But I also think, and we've talked about this since we've been covering NXT here at BC WrestlePod, because I always have to pause when we are on the line of stereotypical gimmicks like we are. I will say, I think it was really smart of them to pull Jada away from them to be her own person, which was great. And again, I'm fine with the look because I'm all here as a person of color. Like, I understand the struggle. I know what out the mud means to us. We be hustling out here every day, doing what we can to make it and get out of where we are. And that's fine. But I agree with you, Will. I feel that you can turn that into a net positive because remember, we were so against the stereotypical stuff like the gambling, the dice, all that stuff. I was like, whoa, what is happening? And yeah, so OTM, I agree. I think are a really great tag team. I just want them to change a little bit of their character motivations and how their presentation goes. Again, that's not all on them. It's also on creative for NXT. But I also have to agree listen, I love Kale Dixon and Uriah Connors, but 2.0 Chase U is not the same. All your, the OG, two of the OG members are gone from WWE. Thea's out here doing her own thing. So we just got to let Chase U go. And I keep saying this. What was the point of Rich Holling making Chase U close down if you were just going to bring it back in a less this is like the Shasta version. It's the Diet Shasta version of freaking Chase U. And I'm just like, I don't care. Unfortunately, the ship has sailed, which sucks. But again, this was more so a match to get OTN the win and back on the screen and reintroduce folks now that they're back from injury. But, it is what it is. Miles needed this moment. And now I am full send express. He ain't going to win at Battleground, but now I need this man to be pushed to the moon after this because...
Can I just say, watching this segment really made me think hard and seeing, and this is one of the reasons I really have come to love Obafemi, is if you go back to when he first premiered at NXT and watch him evolve from when he first got there to where he is now. He started off, and I'm sorry, this is just the word I'm going to use. He started off very savage, literally like an uneducated savage.
Well, remember the way that we were presented from him, they literally made his wrestling character personality. He's like, I'm from Nigeria.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that was it when we were first introduced to him in that breakout tournament.
Yeah. And now he has become the gentleman wrestler, and what I mean by that, and that's different from other gentleman wrestlers that we've encountered. But he is this one moment where he was just like, I am the champion. However, you have worked hard to get where you are, and I respect that, and I'm going to give you your due. And he was very positive towards Miles. Now, at the end of it, what happens is what happens. But I was just like, gosh, the evolution, even in the way he dresses now, the evolution of Obafemi has just been fascinating to watch. Really.
And I think... Right. And I feel that that's what NXT does really well. At least, when you're trying to make future stars who are going to go to the main roster one day, is that they spend the time here. And it's not just because people feel like, oh, NXT is the developmental. No, it's the third brand, but NXT focuses more on getting in-ring work together as well as letting people figure out characters and motivations. I feel between the three brands of WWE, which is Raw, SmackDown, and NXT has my heart because it's more inclined to what I excel at, which is the writer and the storytelling part of me. We get more stories and more feuds. And then Raw and SmackDown, we get great matches, but the storylines are very thin unless you're in the big storylines, and then everything else kind of just takes takes a back seat to everything else. But NXT has a really fine balance of everything. We get good wrestling, fantastic wrestling. We get stories, we get feuds. We get lots of people eating up the screen time with backstage promos and segments. It's a fine balance. Of course, sometimes we either do too much or do too little when it comes to certain things. But this exact promo is an example of why I like NXT, because these are two people. Oba has been here for a little bit, is now kind of starting to define what his character, his motivations are, how he wants his, trajectory as a wrestling character to go. And we're finally start to see Miles kind of begin that journey for himself. We're slowly seeing him find his own identity outside of no quarter catch crew. He's holding his own. He's using his real life experience to win over the fans. We are literally seeing the beginning stages of what I think if NXT and WWE take the time and effort and put some stock into Miles, I think this man is going to be a really huge babyface that everyone's going to get behind and support. It's already happening now. Can you imagine on the level when Miles goes to main roster and does it too? So this made me more excited for their encounter at Battleground this weekend. So I'm really excited for this one, honestly. But Oba, Miles, good job. This is a really great promo between the both of you. Speaking of which, I actually really like this because you know what? This is the Ava I want to see all the time. She takes no shit. She will get in your face and she will yell at everybody to sit the flip down. So we get these. So we get all Ego, Ethan Page, and Ricky Saints arguing in Ava's office. Ava's just like, okay, both of you need to shut the flip up and you're going to listen to me now. because I am tired of you two running roughshod all over NXT and fighting each other. Sean Legacy won the right for this championship, but you know what? Because y'all two want to fight, we're going to hash this out now. So next week, Ricky Saints is going to be defending his NXT North American Championship against All Ego Ethan Page. So that match is going to be fun. Who knows? And then whoever walks out as champion, Sean Legacy will be facing them in some capacity within the next couple of weeks too. But Ava, yes, ma'am, this is what I want to see all the time. She don't take no shit from no one.
I agree. I've got nothing else. This was great. Yeah, Ava, you go, girl.
I love it. So next week we are getting this NXT North American Championship match, Ricky Saints versus All Ego Ethan Page. As much as I love these two, I hope that we could take a break from this feud and allow both of them to fight other people, because we've been going at it since March. So that is there. Tony, I love you. I will say, though, production, yes, I love production. I was like, what screenshot do I want to use? I was like, I would kiss this man. But Tony D'Angelo gives us a promo where he's going to end. It's the typical promo. After everything that has happened since Stand and Deliver between him and Stacks, Tony is now out for vengeance and for blood. AKA, Tony's probably going to main roster after Battleground. So, but this was a fun promo. I like it because this is the recap for people. I was just like, he wasn't on the physical show in the building, but we got this pre-tape from the Olive Garden somewhere in Tampa or in Orlando, I should say. I'm going to miss Tony when he goes to the main roster.
Me
not
too.
going to lie.
Me too. You know, and it's so funny. It's just like, I just don't see Stacks having the same gravitas as Tony. I mean, I really don't. This is weird to me. And I know, and you know, yay for Tony for going to main roster. And, you know, he deserves it because he's good and he's ready. You know, I'm just going to miss him and his sort of the dawn. But yeah, it was a good segment.
Right. And it definitely kind of puts a period on what, like, all the build up to the match at Battleground. So I'm looking forward to that match too. So we get an impromptu match because we had, you know, Fatal Influence talking massive amounts of crap to Lola Vice and Lolos about you about to catch these hands, and catch these hands were had. The breakup is happening. That's very soon, in my opinion, between Fallon. I was like, damn, JC cannot last in these factions because they always break up at some point. But we get Lola Vice versus Fallon Henley. This was a quick match. Lola Vice wins. And yes, thank you for putting Lola Vice back on my television screen. Nothing more to add. Be like, Lola wins.
Yeah.
The fracture between Fallon and JC is growing even further.
Yep. Which we knew was going to happen.
Yeah. Because Mean Girls do what Mean Girls do best, and they implode on themselves. So.
Oh, yeah. They start eating each other. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Be like, they lording the flies in out here. So, love you, Lola. Glad you're back on my screen. Yes. Moving on. I'm just kidding. No, this promo ruled because, like, I love Stephanie going back and forth between English and Spanish because it is just so amazing. But I love what she said, that Jordan Grace may have prepared, but Jordan needs to be prepared, because Stephanie says my favorite thing this whole episode when she ended this promo. She's like, Jordan better be careful because, you know, she's going to get burned the closer she tries to get to hell, which Stephanie refers to herself as the hell that Jordan's going to have to go through to get this championship. And I'm like, let this match main event Battleground, please. I don't know if they will, but I am so ready for this. Stephanie, I need that on a t-shirt like yesterday. If not, I will make one for us. It's in some capacity, and hopefully we don't get copyrighted. This also did not help me. I was like, okay, Jordan's promo was amazing. Let's see what Stephanie says. Stephanie's promo was amazing. Flip. I still don't know who I'm going to pick. I'm like, and you know what? Normally I hate it, but I'd love that I don't know who to pick.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I agree. I don't know who to pick either.
Stephanie, I know you ain't for me, but I just want to talk to you because, well, me and Will would love to talk to you because I feel like we would have fun conversations. Because I want to learn more about your life, girl. Because even in the beginning of this promo, she talked about what she did to get to wrestling, you know, cleaning floors, being maid. I was like, I did not know that about you, Stephanie. And now I do. And now I have even more love and appreciation for you. And also, you're the same age as me. Hey. Also, if the rumors are to be true, Miles Bourne, you are a very lucky man. Just saying. I just love you, Stephanie. I have nothing else to say. I'm so excited. We're going to talk about you when we do our predictions for Battleground.
Nope, I love her. So, yeah.
So good. We're going to get us t-shirts. I'm going to get us Stephanie Vaquero t-shirts because I feel like we need them. So quickly, we get a Dark State promo. So from something we like, I'm going to be completely honest. The only person I actually cared for in this whole entire thing was Mr. Saquon Sugars. So Shorty over here in the middle, the third one from the left. Saquon is the only one I cared about in this promo. It might be a little biased because I like Saquon from his independent days, but honestly, he's the only one that when he was talking, it felt natural. It wasn't felt like I am reading off of a script and trying to deliver this intensity, but it is not working out. I don't like it. I forgot that Dark State was here because we hadn't seen them in like 2 weeks. So I was like, okay. I was like, oh crap, I forgot y'all exist. I am not opposed to more factions in NXT, but I feel that now is the time to give them something of substance to do. Because we've had them, they'll be attacking everybody for like a month and a half, 2 months now. Now let's get them into a proper feud. I'm not gonna lie, you could send them to TNA, and I feel like we could actually do some fun stuff over there with them too.
Oh, they would be great in TNA. They're right now they're serving no purpose.
Right.
And which is unfortunate because it's like it's a waste of talent. You need to bring a faction into the storyline. They need to be part of the storyline, not a tertiary outside influence. That because we forget about them. It's like, oh yeah, those guys. It's just like they're so insignificant. Other than the fact that they came in and just were like beating up on everybody, and I'm just like, what is that?
And then we really haven't seen them since.
No?
We saw them like maybe in spurts, but now we don't. Now I forgot. I was like, oh my gosh, it's really only been 2 weeks, and I forgot y'all were here. Oops. That is how they don't have anything for these guys, and I'm hoping they do because I actually do dig all four of them, especially Mr. Saquon Sugars. I think you are very talented. But I think it's time for us to now getting them into something more substantial, of substance, if you will. But after this Dark State vignette promo, we do get another match. We get Kalani Jordan versus Zarya round 2. If wins, she gets a championship match against Sol Ruka. And I thought we were going to get a repeat. Zarya does throw Kalani into the barricade this time again. I was like, oh my gosh. But through the craziest thing in professional wrestling, miscommunication, Kalani is able to get out of the way. Zarya accidentally hits Sol. She gets so upset that she hit her friend, which would allow Kalani to hit the schoolboy roll up for the win. And this because Kalani wins, she just earned herself an NXT Women's North American Championship match at Battleground. Also, Kalani, this hair in this picture, yes, ma'am. Like long hair, don't care.
I like the gear too.
Yes. Also, Sol, this looks very cute.
Yeah.
I'm really excited because we saw them go at it last year at Heatwave, and they had a baller match, one of my favorites. And I am excited for round 2 between these two. But I also am excited because now we're at a new dynamic. Sol is champion. Kalani is leaning more towards heel, but is still the in-between, but she has a little bit more ferocity to her. So I'm excited to see how these two go at it at Battleground. So
agreed.
And the Zarya and Kalani match served its purpose. It was fun to watch them. I could watch both of them fight all day, but it was to get Kalani to Battleground, and I'm not upset about it. So good job, ladies. Lots of fun stuff. Alrighty. So let's talk about what ended the show. So we had the Joe Hendry concert. By far, the better of the two things that we got. But that's because we have seen multiple Joe Hendry concerts. So Joe Hendry talks about Trick Williams. And the best part about this whole thing, because I recognize the footage that got shown because we have been covering NXT for the last 2 years. And me, you, and Andrew were covering that Halloween Havoc episode. And it was so funny to watch them repurpose it with Trick Williams running away from Joe Hendry's like cropped in face. Like, this was great. Trick Williams did not appreciate it. Comes out, interrupts the concert. Tries to do a trick shot, but does a trick shot through Joe's guitar. Instead, Joe Hendry hits the standing ovation. Joe Hendry stands tall at the end of this. And I'm going to say this again during our predictions. Joe Hendry standing tall doesn't make me super comfortable because Joe Hendry stand tall. Oh God, I think Trick might actually take the title at Battleground. We'll talk about that during predictions. Easily the better of the two concerts we got.
Agreed. It was fun. They always are.
So nothing else to say. This is what ended the show. And that brings us to the end of the NXT Go Home Show review. But we are not done quite yet because me and Will still are going to be here for a little bit. So I'm going to post this in our group chat so we can get it open. But if you are new here to BC WrestlePod, on our Go Home shows, what we like to do, what we started doing this year is that we started doing our predictions live and actually filling out the forms live together because that way we can all fill them out all at once. and then make it easier so people actually will fill these things in and not forget to do them later. Especially because now I'm posting these predictions as like social media posts. So I have just sent it. So me, Will, and Macho, even though he cannot be here, we will be doing our predictions right now for Battleground. So let's start things off. These matches are in no particular order. I have ordered them in how I would, well, not necessarily but how I feel like to keep the energy, how I would book the show. But again, I'm not in NXT, so what do I know? But let's talk about the first thing, which is the 6-man tag team match, where we have Name Redacted taking on the team of Josh Briggs and Hank and Tank. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm going with Briggs and Hank and Tank only because I feel like if tag champs lose here, it does not set a good precedence for them being our new tag team champs. And honestly, I feel like Name Redacted here can take a loss.
Agreed.
Also, this picture, though, this man to the left of Sean Spears is giving me the I like the way he looks at me vibes. I was like, what is this picture?
Like he wants to wear your skin.
I was just like, no, sir, you cannot eat me. Please don't. I do not consent. Also, Brooks over here on the right is unrecognizable to me. I'm like, oh God, I forgot you were here. I was like, what have we done to you?
I know.
But yeah, out of spite and just not wanting the good guys to lose, I'm going with Josh Briggs and Hank and Tank here.
That's who I chose.
Yeah. So moving on, next match we want to talk about is this match. Surprisingly, no gimmick match, no street fight, no cage fight. But we have this singles match between Channing Stacks Lorenzo versus Tony D'Angelo. I love Tony all day long. I will continue to watch him and support him, but I'm going with Stacks in this one because I feel that this is the time for Tony to bow out of NXT because I think he's ready to head up to main roster.
Yep, I agree. Total agreement.
So I'm going with Stacks on this one.
Me too.
So next up was also another match made from last night's episode of NXT, which is for the NXT Women's North American Championship. This is versus Kalani Jordan. This is a Heat Wave rematch, but it is opposite because now Soul is the champion and Kalani is the challenger. I'm excited. If it's anything like their Heat Wave match, I cannot wait. As much as I would love to see Kalani win it, I'm going to go with Soul because I feel like Soul has just started to get into the groove. And ultimately, I don't think Soul, I think the person who's going to take it off Soul is Zarya. So I'm going to go with Soul retaining here.
Oh, this is a hard one. Because, I get the whole Zarya angle. I get that. But God bless America. Kalani deserves something. How long has she been doing this? I mean, honestly, gosh, almost as long as we've been doing it.
Yes. But to be fair, though, Will, remember, she was also our inaugural NXT Women's North American Champion because she won it at surprisingly, she won it at Battleground last year.
Oh, that's fair.
And she held it for a pretty long time before losing it to Fallon.
Well, that's true, I guess. Yeah, you're right. I'm in complete agreement with you. It's just one of those.
You don't want to, but I understand.
Yeah. I mean, I went ahead and I chose my stuff, but I chose Soul Rika because I think that as much as I want her to have it, I don't think it's her time again.
Right. So I am excited about the match, though.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so let's talk about this next one because in the world of 2025 wrestling, it is amazing, but also wild to me that the TNA World Championship will be defended NXT's Battleground. What a world we live in. But this is for the TNA World Championship match. Joe Hendry defending his TNA World Championship against Trick Williams. I'm still 50-50. I'm probably going to lose a point on this one anyways, but my wrestling brain logic tells me that because Joe stood tall on the Go Home show, I think Trick Williams might be taking this championship from Joe Hendry, which is crazy to say. But honestly, if Trick the way I see it and the reason I'm picking Trick is because I think Trick will take it, but I don't think he's going to hold on to it for long. I think Joe will get it back at the next Who knows? Because we have Battleground, and then we might get a rematch because the next thing after Under Siege for TNA is Against All Odds. So I could see Joe Hendry getting it back at Against All Odds, but I'm going to go with Trick on this one, and it hurts me to say, but wrestling brain logic tells me that the winner and person who stood tall at Go Home show is about to lose this match at the pay-per-view.
I don't disagree with you, but I have to go with my boy Joe. I can't go against him. Sorry.
That's true. You know what? That's very fair. I'm the same way. I ride or die. But, despite the lackluster Trick Williams diss track and the fun, Joe Hendry concert, I'm actually kind of excited for this match because we get these two one-on-one. They've been running roughshod against each other, both in NXT and TNA. So I'm excited. This one's going to be fun.
I agree.
Can they both win?
I know, right? So I'm telling you, can
So-
have joint custody?
Yes, for the NXT Women's Championship, Stephanie Vaquer will be defending her title against Jordan Grace. It's like picking my two favorite flavors of ice cream. Like, I don't know what this one's hard. So, would I be mad if Stephanie retains? No, because Stephanie is also amazing too. Based on what we talked about during the review, I'm gonna go with Stephanie because I feel that we still have a little more juice to give in her championship run. But I do believe that Jordan will be the one to take the title off of Stephanie down the line, but I don't think Battleground is the place for it right now. So I'm going with Stephanie to retain here.
Me too. I went with Stephanie as well. I think eventually Jordan will take it from her. I just don't think it's here.
Yeah. But then we get into what's probably main eventing the show, which is the NXT Championship. Obafemi defending his title against Miles Bourne. Besides Stephanie and Jordan, this is the other match I'm actually really anticipating. And I think that this has been a well built up feud. Miles won the Battle Royale. We've had great promos between the two of them back and forth. It's like a sheer sign of respect and very gentlemanly, if you will. I do have Oba retaining here, but I think, and hopefully they will give him the time, but I think this is where we're going to officially see the Miles Bourne singles, coming out party, so to speak. I think Miles will be able to push Oba to the limits he hasn't hit yet and then lose, but I think this match is going to be Miles's coming out party.
I totally agree. I think this will convince him that he needs to be out on his own.
Because I have grown to love him over the last couple of weeks, and I'm really excited for this opportunity for him. And I honestly think this is going to be a really good match, and it's going to serve the purpose to elevate Miles as well as Oba. So I cannot wait. Well, I have locked in everything. We have locked in our picks. So the picks for Battleground are set. Battleground will be taking place this Sunday, May 25th over Memorial Day weekend. We will be doing a review for Battleground next Wednesday, same time. But the lineup's going to be a little bit different because, as Will knows, teacher life, whether you are at the K through 12 level or the college level, always gets packed around the end of May. And thus everything kind of begins next week. So I will not be here, unfortunately, and I'm sad because I really want to review Battleground, but I'm not leaving Will by himself because while I might be tagging out, Adolfo will be tagging in for me. So it will be the Will and Adolfo show next week, and hopefully Macho, if he is able to come, for NXT Battleground next week. So I'm excited, but that's going to be it for us here at NXTilosos. So before we sign off for the evening, just to give you a little preview of what the remainder of this week looks like if you're watching us live. So later tonight, you probably want to come back at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. As I will be here with my two masked luchador friends, Papa Oso and El Buntador II, as we cover another exciting episode of Los Lucha, our CMLL review show here at BC WrestlePod. We are going to be talking about everything that went down in this previous, and also talk about and preview the Copa Junior starting this Friday, which makes me super excited. And then on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, we will be debuting, popping the cherry, if you will, of our newest review team here at BC WrestlePod, the Ring Rats and Riot Axe team. We are now officially adding Defy Wrestling to our rotation of independent promotions we are covering here. And Andrew and myself will be debuting this review team by covering Defy Wrestling's Fatal Fantasy pay-per-view that happened last week, where we were graced with a main event that involved this man on the poster right here and Murder Grandpa himself, Minoru Suzuki. So I'm excited for that. Me and Andrew are really excited. And yeah, that's going to take care of a short week for BC WrestlePod, but fear not, because next week is going to be jam-packed. We got an AEW pay-per-view review on Tuesday, NXT Battleground on Wednesday, more goodness happening. It's going to be a fun time. But me and Will got to get up on out of here. But thank you so much for tuning in this evening for NXTilosos. Again, we will be back next week to cover Battleground and a little bit of the, show as well. And Adolfo and will be able to cover this, and I leave it in their capable hands because they're both amazing, and I love them both. So, from myself and Will, Macho, and the rest of the BC Wrestle Pod family, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay Bi-Conic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. Catch you later for CMLL, but until then, remember to love yourself. We love you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.